Hollywood tries to like put in subliminal images or like subliminal messages in their movies and songs to basically persuade, but like you're mentally not thinking about that when you're watching the movie or watching the music video, but it's stimulating a part of the brain that unconsciously makes you think about things that you never even correlate with the movie or stuff like that.
It's just like different frequencies that like you don't know your brain is being controlled. It's basically like brainwashing with different frequencies.
That brings to a big subject about how it's a big topic in today's world about how homos, I should say, are born gay. Like they say that they are born gay, and I fully disagree with that, and I'm sure all of you guys also fully disagree with the fact that gay
nobody
people
is born gay.
Yes, there has to be some sort of interaction in their younger days.
Some sort of external stimulus that makes them think that way in the first place.
Influences, there you go. I mean, it could have been anything from your uncle raping you to you watching something on YouTube as a kid and seeing, oh, okay, that person's gay, he looks happy, I want to be like him.
It's not even YouTube.
It's not even
television. Everything, like every show, SpongeBob, all these gay jokes, like hidden jokes.
Well, this is the first I'm hearing about it. Well, I've kind of heard about it a little bit, but I don't know like how effective, like how much of an effect that what they're doing actually has on people around. And like I know like there's like this, I've seen like the subliminal messages that they have in like different kids movies, and it may not necessarily be related to like that topic specifically, but maybe just like other spiritual things that people have noticed or seen, or like inappropriate things as well. So
I mean, you do believe that that there's the higher ups, right, the elites, the Freemasons in a sense, right, and how they control the industries, different industries.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think the way to look at this would be like what their end goal is. Their end goal is to basically expose evil to everyone, make everyone bad, quote unquote bad, I should say, take them away from spiritual life, take them away from God, and make sins okay. Like they're basically normalizing it. There you go. And I think this is just one aspect of why, or I should say how they're doing that by making sexuality okay, and embracing it in a sense.
Well, think about it now. Like all the kids that are growing up now, right? What do they watch? Like Disney, Nickelodeon, or all these shows or things, songs from whatever, and they're constantly going to be seeing like homosexual couples and on all these shows. Like it's going to be normal to them, right?
Yeah, Disney was so
generation.
Disney was it was not the same back when I grew up, compared to now, and there's a lot of.
I'm not sure like about the Frozen 2 movie, but I heard there was a homosexual character in it. I'm not sure. I didn't watch it.
Okay, I didn't watch it either.
Yeah, but they're starting to put in more characters that are gay
or lesbian. Yeah.
And these kids growing up are gonna be like watching that. They're gonna think, oh, there's like it's just normal, right? So say for like one day in school or something, they experience like they have some kind of bad experience or a good experience with like the same-sex individual. Then they start thinking, since they have this in the back of their head, it might be fine if I start thinking this way, right?
Like especially if you want to put out examples, like the Logic music video, for example.
Exactly. Yep.
It just blows it out of the park. Did you guys watch that by any chance?
Yeah,
I watched the
1800 something.
Yeah, like the Suicide Hotline.
The one that came out like a few years ago.
Yeah, like a year or two ago.
Well, it's the song that made him blow up, pretty much.
Well,
yeah. One thing I want to add, right? Like mainly when you think about it, it comes down to like homosexual relationships comes down to sex more than love.
That's like if a kid is growing up and if they're not exposed to any kind of sexual behavior as far as like movies or anything go, they're not gonna think, oh, the reason why they're they're not homosexual is because they want a dick up their ass, or they like you're not, that's the only reason why they've been exposed to some kind of sexual thing that makes them want dick.
I mean, think about it. All these movies, right? All these movies, all these videos, all this music is everything is sex.
Yeah.
Like
sex and drugs.
I mean, even for like the little kids, like all these Disney stuff, it's like all subliminal.
It's relationships, but like, you know what I mean? Like
they sexualized way too early.
Yeah.
But look, think about this. Like 20 years ago, like almost everyone was a homophobic, and like think about like all the brainwashing, like they did to.
And now they have gay parades.
People. Yeah, and like 10 years later.
Yeah, I feel like everybody has this kind of desire inside them to be that people want to be in a relationship, but they kind of find different ways to satisfy that, maybe like, and like the industry kind of give that to them of like making those movies. Yeah. And so it's just like a cycle that just keeps going.
Yeah.
Because people want those relationships and those things to fill that void inside them, but they're seeking it out through different things like that.
Kind of like taking it back a little bit with the songs and the music industry, especially.
Let me add on. Add on
go ahead.
So, you know how in like 10 years, pedophilia is going to be legal. They're going to do the same thing they did to the gays. Like they're going to push it onto the TV. They're going to be like pedophilia. The age doesn't matter.
Age is just numbered.
Age is just numbered. Love is love. They're going to keep on pushing that on the TV, and like 10 years later, everyone's going to be accepting of pedophilia. The same thing.
I wouldn't be surprised if that actually happened.
I don't know. Like I don't discount it, but I think like people have a moral code that they follow by, and I feel like things that are like in the gray area are able to be like swayed easily. Like if something is like, I don't know if I feel like this is a good thing or a bad thing, but so, and I don't know, like pedophilia might be something that people will like, if it's pushed hard enough, I think anybody will accept it. Like even if it's morally wrong, like I think after some time, if people push it enough, then people will start to normalize it.
You said something about the gray area and like borderlines. What they're trying to do is like take away the borderlines and take away the gray areas. So there's no difference between bad and good. It's just
and there. Obviously, picking good is going to be harder than picking the bad, because that's just the way it is. And people, once those borders are taken away, once that gray area is blurred away, people are going to pick the bad because that's just the easier way to go.
Yes, and if you pick good, people are going to start hating on you.
It's harder to pick the good, yeah.
People are going to start hating on you and talk like bash on you.
I mean, that's what's happening right now with the homosexual stuff. If you're like against it, then everybody's just like they're like,
right.
What is wrong with you? Like, you should be accepting of all of his love and all that.
Alright, so with the songs, let's take it back. There have been multiple songs with backmasking, and what that is they have subliminal messages that are pretty apparent when the song is played reversed. And there's been a lot of Satan or Satanist worshipping chants and basically words that worship Satan or sentences that worship Satan that have been implanted in popular pop songs that kids listen to. Like old Justin Bieber songs have them in there. Britney Spears used to have them in there. Yeah, these songs in a way affect these kids, and I don't think it's a coincidence. Why would they sound so clear, and why would the message be so clear when played in reverse?
I mean, this has been going on for years now. Like even from rock bands, and like there are songs from early '90s, early '80s. There's examples of songs played in reverse that has subliminal messages.
If you guys, I don't know if you guys listen to the new Little Uzi album, but in that album, there are after every song he put out there. After every song, there's like he plays a little clip. Of like it sounds kind of like an alien abduction, but it's in some of the things he goes, oh, what is that? Why am I at? What are those three things looking at me and stuff like that? And I just find it to be really creepy. But
yeah, the whole album is creepy.
Yeah, that is true.
Eternal Take.
They just released like a second one like a week later.
What happened? What's it?
He just released like a deluxe version. The Little Uzi album. I know you definitely don't listen to that kind of trashy bass.
Yeah, no.
But
it's all trash.
It is trash, believe me. It has like mini clips, like audio clips at the end of each of his songs. But there's like mini clips of him like talking, and like it's like weird like noises in the background. There's like reversed, like they purposely reversed something. There's also like at one point where he goes, oh, what are those three things looking at me? Where am I at? Am I being abducted or something like that? And that I think takes us to an another level where we talk about how Hollywood stars are being controlled. They basically quote unquote sold their soul, and how they're being controlled by the higher ups, the elite, to promote violence, to promote drugs, to promote adultery.
Yeah, they're basically like puppets. And just to add on, so Lil Uzi Vert, right? Does that name sound familiar?
Lucifer?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all. I mean, there's all these examples of like especially mainstream artists. There's so many examples of correlations too. But the thing is, what happens to all these arguments that are like people? I mean, rightfully so, they mark it as conspiracy since there's like a lack of evidence. But like, I think it's important to distinguish that like we're defending the Bible first of all. Like we're all Christians, we all agree.
Right. And it's just not like a lack of evidence. It's like brainwashed. They're too gone. They're too brainwashed to even think.
I think you mentioned this earlier, or in the previous podcast. I think you mentioned it that like nobody questions.
Right.
What the government does.
Like
not
like,
just the government,
is just
like, celebrities.
Like they don't question reality. Just for say like.
The people who do question it are crazy, or considered crazy.
Or that's what they're trying to make it to be.
Yeah, like if someone says, if you go out at a public event, or if you go out to a restaurant and you're talking to a random stranger about how you think the Illuminati is real, and if you can provide them evidence that isn't coincidence, they'll look at you weird because they'll think you're crazy, because that's what they've been told, that whoever believes that Illuminati is real is crazy, and that's drilled into their head, so they can't go anywhere with that.
Yeah, and about the Hollywood actors and stuff, there's just a guy named Corey Feldman. He had acted in the Goonies and stuff like a long time ago, and he's just now coming out saying that he was abused, like when he was a child actor. He was abused by all these people. Like, he won't say the names because he will get killed. He's basically exposing all of them. How like Hollywood, like the main thing in Hollywood is pedophilia. That's it. Child trafficking and pedophilia.
Trafficking is a big part of that. There's multiple documentaries of child trafficking, especially girls coming from southern part of Asia, and guys, I should say. Little boys and little girls are being transported on huge ships to famous people that are rich enough to pay for them.
Yeah, and not even like all across the globe. Just in the U.S., like 800,000 kids go missing every year.
Yeah, that is also just in the U.S. and no evidence is found. "Quote unquote," no evidence is found. Even with today's CSI force, I should say, or like any investigation authority we have, there have been no evidences of those missing children.
Yeah, like missed like children from like small towns, like a lot of like preschools. They set up like fake preschools that these kids go to, and then they just steal them.
So where is this located? Like in the U.S. or in other countries?
It's everywhere, basically.
It's interesting that like I saw an Indian film, and like in that movie, like it kind of had a similar conflict that they showcased, where these young people were pretty much kidnapped, and like for these rich people, and
is it a Malayalam movie?
It's Tamil. It's called 100.
I never watched it.
It's like a police movie, but like the main thing was since there are obviously local police forces that are inclined to investigate, what they do is they make no, not even that. They make a fake murder, or whereas like that missing child is killed, and they have they showcase evidence for that. At least in that movie, it was like the person burned to death or something like that. So they don't really have because nobody's going to question that from those kind of countries, like from those kind of backgrounds. Those like parents and family, they're not going to question. They're not going to file more cases to figure out if that's their kid or not. They're just going to accept their kid died.
And
so
then
that case.
What happens with those kids is those kids are either used for sexual behavior or used for sacrifices at certain rituals that the higher ups have, and we could dive really deep into that, but
adrenochrome is a big part of that because they want the blood of young people so they can live long. It actually reverses aging. There's proof.
And there's not a lot of, like, I was trying to do research on this, and there's not a whole lot of information about the chemical component, which is called adrenochrome, which is found when the adrenaline of someone between the age of 7 to 16 is producing a lot of adrenaline, and this can be just obtained from getting the blood out of the kid or whoever has that adrenaline in them. And the way they do this to get this adrenaline up is by they scare them to death basically, and then they take the blood from them. It sounds crazy, but that's what, there's multiple articles that
there was also a movie about that. It's called Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. That's what The Weeknd's Heartless is based off of, that song.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the movie about?
It's about like drugs. It's basically about drugs in Las Vegas.
And you can look it up. You can look up adrenochrome, reverse aging or aging, and there's not going to be a lot of but there's going to be articles that suggest that, obviously it doesn't say that they kill them and then take their blood and drink them and stuff like that, but it does say that if it's called quote unquote fountain of youth or young blood, it's basically they just transfer the blood. And most of these articles are medical articles. They're not really stories, but there's a lot of evidence to suggest that this could be one of the things that reverses aging or stops aging, I guess.
Yeah, they just give it a hint. They just hint it. They don't really say it out flat that it reverses aging.
It says controversial treatment transfuses patients with young blood from teenagers to reverse aging process.
Yeah.
This is by CBS Philly.
Huh.
Yeah.
Could this...
Well, I just did a quick search, just adrenochrome, and just on Google Images, And I see all these different like before and after pictures of all these celebrities.
Yeah.
With their old skin and their mistreated skin.
I saw that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And like some of these people are like more than 100 years old. Like the people, like the Freemasons, like the people who don't like to show their faces on camera. Like the elites. Mm-hmm. Some of them are like actually 100 years old. Like they're vampires.
That's what it is. That's where vampires
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
From. Yeah. What were you saying about the article?
I'm just like skimming through it. And
you're not gonna. I mean, unless we do a search on the dark web, we're not really gonna find anything that is directly relates to young.
They're not really saying how they get the blood. They're just saying that it's somehow helping.
And people have come out, but you can't even find those like testaments anymore on the internet.
Yeah, you really can't. You really can't. They don't report on that kind of stuff anymore.
Yeah.
They cover it up with something.
I mean, even on like how YouTube is a free open source for everybody.
Oh yeah.
Say what they want.
Stuff gets taken.
I remember a lot of YouTube channels I used to follow that used to be like this, where they expose something or whatever. All their channels got deleted or
especially the ones that are Christian based.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, and funny enough, it's just like more proof towards Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why you're trying to shut it down if it's not real?
Jim Carrey and his story and how he. Well, now people think of him. If you think of Jim Carrey now, it's like he's the way you would describe him. He's crazy. He's mental. He's not okay. He's weird. But back in his prime days, he was like the Tom Cruise at that time when he acted and performed. And now he's crazy. And why would that be? Because he tried to expose the Illuminati. He tried to expose the Freemasons. There was a famous Jimmy Kimmel interview where he basically says it out loud. He goes to Jimmy Kimmel, right? He goes, he basically puts up the triangle and puts it up to his mouth, and he goes, "You know what I'm talking about. You're in this. Everyone else that, every other famous reporter is in this, stuff like that."
Mm-hmm.
And it like there's been reports that not reports but theories that he is crazy now because he was on the verge of exposing everything and they did something to him or basically turned him crazy so that he wouldn't speak out against
it's called trauma-based mind control.
Okay. Do you want to talk about that?
So that they traumatize the person to the point where you can actually control the person. Whatever you say, they do it, and they do it like fear. Fear has like a big part.
Yeah, through pain and terror.
Yeah, pain and terror.
And you can see it, something is not okay with them, and it's just not usual. It's unusual for a person to go from being so high up there to down in the dumps like that.
That's crazy. Just listen to this. Roughly about 800,000 children are reported missing each year in the U.S. alone.
For what?
And that's like 2,000 kids each day.
Missing for what are they?
Just missing. Kids aren't found. It could be.
That's crazy.
It could be anything. It could be kidnapped. Could be the kid running away. But
look, 800,000 kids running away.
That's what I'm. That's what I'm getting to the point to.
Crazy.
That's not gonna happen. They're being taken. Yeah,
people don't question this.
Does it have an age number or?
No, they don't. It doesn't really have an age.
Okay.
But that figure that you're saying, 800,000, that's just the general number that's out there, right?
Yeah, it could be more or yeah.
Right. I mean, it probably could be more.
Mm-hmm.
But that's that's not a figure that anybody's trying to hide. That's just like a fact that you can get. Like that's the amount of people that are
kids
that's
reported. They're not reported.
The real question is where are they going? That's the real question.
Yeah,
and that's what nobody asks because nobody has time to think about that because everybody's everybody's mind is
everybody's all desensitized to it.
Yeah, I mean, another kid missing. Cool.
Yeah, this is like normal.
I mean, not only that, our lifestyle is just so much more fast-paced now.
Yeah. You get, these kids, and I have experiences firsthand. These kids will get mad. They will get upset if their YouTube page doesn't load in a matter of 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Little kids, they'll get upset because their YouTube page doesn't load in 5 seconds. That's crazy. That just shows how low the attention span in today's generation is, and that's just in a sense making us dumber as humans. It's taking away the ability to think of rational things.
Like we're constantly losing our ability to have I don't know if it's the best way to put it as like emotional understanding, but like some examples that I've heard in the past was when Prince died, the musician.
Yeah.
Prince, yeah.
Yeah, his news like lasted for about a week. Like recently Kobe, he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
That lasted about for a month or so. I mean, nobody has time to stop and think and mourn. Everything is just like, okay,